failed clones, it's the Comics Kid 2099 here to once again discuss an episode of Superman the Animated Series. Today I will be talking about Bizarro's world, so if you don't like spoilers, then be gone, because I'm about to spoil this episode real good. You've been warned. We begin with Bizarro finding out that the Fortress of Solitude is in the North Pole, and he goes there and finds out that Krypton exploded. So he sets out to recreate Krypton in the middle of Metropolis, and then recreate the end of Krypton. And so Superman must naturally stop him. Cue credits. So this episode starts off a little weird, because we see Lois and Superman both deciding to go investigate the facility where Lex Luthor created Bizarro. And this would make sense if the episode was following Bizarro's debut, but this is 14 episodes later, and I don't understand why both Lois and Superman are waiting until now to investigate to see if Bizarro is still alive. Did they hear rumors that Luthor was about to destroy this building, so they thought maybe he was hiding something? With the loose continuity this series employed, is it possible this episode is supposed to take place shortly after Identity Crisis? I wouldn't mind if that was the case, because I think it would make this episode work a lot better, or at least the beginning of this episode would. I could totally get them not wanting to do two Bizarro stories back to back, because there are people like me who can only take Bizarro in very small doses, and so one episode every few months is enough. But if this isn't supposed to take place soon or immediately after the previous Bizarro episode, then that is a little odd that these two characters would wait so long to investigate this. Anyway, if you think that is nitpicky, wait until you hear my next comment. So somehow, Angela Chen knows about the Fortress of Solitude, and presumably everyone else in the public does as well? How? Why? Isn't the point of the fortress that it's Superman's secret place where he can get away from it all when he needs to? I'm not against the fortress having visitors, and sometimes it makes sense. Superman 2, for instance, Luthor is a genius and he figures out where Superman is going. But how did Angela find out about it? I guess it's possible Superman doesn't mind people knowing that he has a fortress at the North Pole, since most people aren't going to be going to the North Pole to bother him anyway, so maybe he told Lois and she printed it in an interview. I guess that's possible. And of course, even if that's not the case, I know why this has to happen this way. Bizarro has to hear about Krypton from Brainiac's orb, so he has to hear about the fortress first. I get that, but maybe Bizarro could have found a Superman museum or something. Not really Superman style, sure, but the people of Metropolis love Superman, and I wouldn't put it past them to build him a museum and maybe have an exhibit on Krypton that Bizarro sees. Again, this isn't a deal breaker. I know we have to have some way of Bizarro finding out about Krypton, so it doesn't matter how it happens. It's just strange to me that the average public would even know about the Fortress of Solitude. So getting past the complaints, let me talk about some of the things that I like about this episode. Just like Identity Crisis, this episode does a great job of making Bizarro an unintentional menace who is a threat to those around him, but we also sympathize with him. I really feel bad for Bizarro, and I want to see him find his place in the universe, so seeing him try to recreate Krypton does tug at my heartstrings, even when he tries to destroy his version of Krypton. To him, it makes perfect sense. And I like the way Superman is able to stop Bizarro, not through punching, although he does try plenty of that, but through Bizarro's own love for Lois. Although this does beg the question, just how much of Bizarro is a warped version of Superman? He clearly doesn't have any of Superman's memories, or else he would already know about Krypton, and Luthor would have likely tried to have found a way to dissect what he knew and use it against Superman. But he does have Superman's feelings, I guess. How does this work? Where is the line drawn? If the Kents met Bizarro, would he know them? Or is Bizarro's infatuation with Lois just from meeting her in Identity Crisis? With how terrified she was of him in that episode, I'm a little unsure how this works. But again, not a deal breaker. For someone who claims not to like Bizarro, I'm finding myself surprisingly okay with his appearances in this series so far. 2 for 2, they're both solid. So what did you guys think of the episode and of my review? If you like this video, be sure to keep watching, because I'll be diving into Superman the Animated Series again in the near future. In the meantime, you guys have a great one. Catch you later.